I told myself that I was just going to do it. I'm just going to start recording because I'm so tired of obsessing over trying to make my videos perfect. I just want to focus on teaching. And to be honest, that's why we started this channel. My sister and I, we wanted to express ourselves in the subjects that we care about. And so I don't know why I even tried to create videos that I felt would be perfect, quote unquote. So, like this video is essentially a declaration to myself to show up and commit to the work, to show up and commit to the process, and to fall in love with the journey of just becoming. Because I feel like my whole life I've seen how things could be, and for a long time I obsess over that vision without fully enjoying the present moment, and that has caused so much anxiety in my life, even depression, because I was so just torn about the fact that I was not living in my desired reality already. And to be honest, that took away a lot of my peace because I never felt like I was good enough to even to be a part of this world where I was and as I was during the time. And I think that's the beautiful thing about getting older and honestly turning 30 this year. I don't know what happens when you turn 30, but there's something magical that just transforms within you, and you just stop caring about how you are perceived by others, and you more so make the shift inward. Like you start caring about how you perceive yourself. Like one thing I started focusing on is just the way I talk to myself, right? That inner dialogue. I wanted to focus on one that was actually healthy, because if you think about it, a lot of the times how we speak to ourselves is honestly a byproduct of how other people have spoken to us, and we've internalized their own judgment and their criticism, but we don't have to keep that narrative alive. Like you can kill that narrative and create one and give life to one that is more reflective of where you are and who you want to be in life. And honestly, I think that's the most beautiful thing. It's just recognizing that you can change your own life. And that I say this all the time. And so it's very difficult sometimes to really process, but when you get it, you get it. Like there is no one who is coming to save you. The person who is going to save you is the person that you keep avoiding, the person inside of you that you know you could be, but you are procrastinating because of fear or fear of success or failure, even like just fear. Fear has held so many people back from being who it is that they were created to be. But we get to decide whether we want to build a life based on fear or a life based on love. And honestly, I would say that was the biggest shift I've made during this process, like turning 30, quitting a toxic job, quitting a toxic relationship, even like all of that truly helped me make space for relationships and careers that were more in alignment with who I am. And so I think that's the most beautiful thing about this process. Like when I sit back and I observe everything that has shifted, everything that has transformed within me, I'm truly proud of myself. Like I've never been proud of myself, no matter what it was that I was trying to achieve, whether that was like, even it's crazy because I was talking with my dance teacher yesterday, and she was like, I watched your TED talk and that's such an incredible achievement. Like, how do you feel after doing that? And I honestly had no words because I hadn't given myself the space to even feel that moment, to be like, wow, like that was something I was trying to manifest for 10 years and it happened. And it was such a glorious opportunity to share a part of my journey that has helped me transform and to share that with my community. Like that was huge. And I didn't even feel the magnitude of that moment because I was going so fast. And so now that I've slowed down a bit and I'm focused more on building a business and a life that I love, I feel like all of the things that has happened from my past have kind of come full circle. And now I'm getting to feel those moments. Now I'm getting to integrate the wisdom and the understanding from what life has shown me, the experiences that life has brought about. And I think that's the beautiful thing about getting older, is that you truly slow down. You stop caring as much. You ground yourself in the truth of who you are, and you have a choice. Like you can choose to do this or you can choose not to do it. But I highly recommend that you take the time to get to know who you are and what you want most out of life. And I feel like for most of my life, I felt very different, idealistic, or people would say that I live in a fantasy world. But it's so funny because everything that I once fantasized about, like God has brought into my life. So I don't think I'm living in a fantasy world now. Now I know for a fact that I see things before they happen, and I feel them, not just see them with my mind's eye, but I feel the emotions of what it would be like to live in that reality. And then I feel it so often that it transforms my world. And we all have this ability to do that. But I think that belief in yourself, and also belief in a higher power that runs within you, like that is your greatest asset that you have, that we all have. But a lot of people never use it. They never tap into that ability. So that's really where I am. I've only been talking for almost 6 minutes, and it feels like I've been talking for eternity. But no, I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with who I am. I'm just happy in general because I finally took the time to get to know who I am. I finally took the time to invest in my voice and to invest in communicating what's going on internally and communicating my needs and wants. I never communicated what I want out of life. And so I was just giving the crumbs that people thought that I deserved. And it's so funny because I'm just laughing at the fact that, oh, I thought that if I just didn't say anything, then I would be liked. Then people, I wouldn't ruffle people's feathers, so to speak. But it never happened. I feel like people just ended up resenting me more because I was just so passive and I was such a pushover and such a people pleaser. Like, nobody respects that type of person. Let's just be honest. Nobody respects a people pleaser. They see them as just insignificant. And that was honestly my whole life. I feel like I was definitely the underdog and definitely the person that someone would have just looked over. But thank God for growth. I'll just say it like this. Thank you, Lord Yeshua, for growth. Because I could not have continued this journey the same way that I was living it for the past 30 years. But it's just, like I'm grateful. I'm honestly just gratitude. I have so much gratitude for this journey because it could have ended a long time ago. And I thank God that I have the opportunity to show up as myself. Like I'm nobody but who I am. I can't be, if you're expecting me to be someone else, like I'm not going to be that person, but I can be the best version of Crystal. I can be the best version of just expressing everything that I've always felt to be true for myself. And I've always felt like I could have become this woman. Even though I had people telling me otherwise, I always knew that that was possible for me. And I just did it. One day I just decided that I was just going to start showing up as her and being nice to her and having grace with the journey as I become her. And something magical truly has happened within me because I've decided to stop lying about who I am. And just be honest. It's so easy to lie to other people about who you are, but you can't lie to yourself. Not for too long. Eventually, that mask is going to start to crack and the true you is going to come through. And you're just going to have to deal with who you see in the mirror. And a lot of people don't want to look at themselves in the mirror because they don't want to acknowledge what it is what they see. But when you have integrity, when you have love for who you are and what you see in the mirror, it transforms everything. Your whole life will transform when you transform, when you decide to walk in integrity, when you decide to stop giving this world a watered down version of who you are. You have that choice. Just decide. Decide literally means to cut. Like, become who you are intended to be, who you know you can be, and cut away everything that isn't you, everything that isn't alignment. I promise you, when you start choosing a path that feels like you open up the gates of heaven. Like you truly become so undeniably resonant with a life that you know is true for you. Like when I stepped away from the job that was not resonating with me, a high paying corporate job, like literally it was in alignment with my research that I was doing during my doctoral program. I thought this is exactly what I wanted. I knew immediately, like, this is not it. And I waited so long to walk away from that situation until I got really, really sick one day. And I thought, you know what, if I was to leave this earth, like I've done what I wanted to do. I went to school, like I did it. But if I was to leave this earth at this very moment, would I be happy with the way that I'm living now? And the answer was no. So I literally said a little prayer, and the next day I got the confirmation that I needed, and I quit. And I felt so happy after that. Like I even called my mom and was like, hey, I did this. And she was like, well, you sound happy. Because I was liberated. I was free. Freedom feels good. Freedom feels like joy. And I didn't have a plan at the time, but I took that whole year to invest in building our holistic health and beauty company. I took that year to reconnect with my family. I took that year to get in alignment with who I am. I had to let go of so much, like the amount of shadow work you have to do in order to truly stand in your light is immense. Like you have to do so much work. But the freedom and the lightness that you feel in your heart after that is magnificent. Like, I'm so grateful that I took a year off of working a traditional job and took that year in building myself, building the life that I know I can live. And then after that year, I found a contracted job, a short-term contracted job that actually paid me twice as much as they paid me, and I was doing half the work. It was undeniably a gift from God to be able to have found that position, but I wouldn't have found it had I not taken that leap of faith, had I not decided that, okay, I'm not going to do life the way that people expect me to do life. I'm going to do life in a way that feels good to me. And that changed everything. So now I'm at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. I really have to get used to talking on camera. So I truly pray that this journal entry for me has been insightful and maybe even has served as a mirror for you. Wherever you are on your journey, I am so proud of the work that you're doing. I'm so proud of the fact that you have decided to invest in yourself. And even if you made it to the end of this video, like obviously there is something within you that is calling you higher, something that is telling you that there's more for you in this life. And I just say, follow that guidance, follow your internal authority, follow your heart, as cheesy as that sounds, but that has just been my whole life. Follow your heart and it will lead you to your greatest treasures in life. I truly, truly believe that and know that, because that has been the case for me and so many of the other people that I've studied and that I've connected with who have transformed their lives. Like they've come from some really janky situations in life and they've created beautiful lives for themselves and their families. And I don't think that's just for the select few. Like, I think that's for the people who actually believed it was possible for them and they tried. So many people may see that as possible for them, but they don't try. And if you don't try, you'll never know. Like, this is not something, I'm not saying anything new. Like, you have to try in order to see if it's possible. And it may not always feel comfortable for you, but it'll always be worth it. And you'll know that at the end of your life, which nobody gets out of here alive. Like, it's so arrogant to think that you have forever to be on this earth. We don't. Everyone has to exit one day. It's just, are you going to live your life in accordance with your heart's desires or in accordance with how the world desires you to be? And I guarantee you one of those paths will lead you to living in hell on earth. So yeah, I hope this is helpful. I will see you in the next video, whenever that is. Bye.